Mic test, mic test. Wait, I am live right now, I think. Alright, if I am live right now, welcome, hi everybody. We only have two things to go over today, which is the Tsukuyomi rework as well as the Tyrant 3 Retrofit. Both of which have just been dropped in today's update. And I will see if I can, get through both of these things, both of these mecha, within maybe 40 minutes, hopefully. And let's see if we can do that, because yeah. Also, if you're watching this in the future, just know everything I talked about will be commented, or will be timestamped in the comments and in the description. I'm gonna find my phone real quick, and then so I can watch my own stream, make sure everything is fine. So, okay, let me watch my own stream, make sure all is fine. Is the music fine? Oh my goodness. My internet is kind of screwed lately for my mobile devices, so I don't know. Hopefully it will work soon. Let me see. Alright, and I just want to make sure, my live stream is going well. Okay, seems good, okay. Alright, I need to log into my game real quick. Alright, yeah, so anyway, for those, who are watching this as a video, just know, everything talked about will be timestamped in the comments and in the description, so, yeah, just, I don't know. I'm so tired. Alright, so hello everybody, hello. Okay, well, let's get started. So both Tsukuyomi and Tyrant 3 is actually quite usable, at least back when, at least back when it was in NC. So yeah, but thing about Tsukuyomi is not a free-to-play unit. Tsukuyomi is something that you need to roll for, which I would not recommend anyone rolling for Tsukuyomi, because even though it is usable at the top, I don't think it's worth, rolling like a quote-unquote older unit for like, until like 10 stars, and for the trophy, I don't think that's worth it. So yeah, if you don't have any Tsukuyomi copies, which I don't think you will unless you play this game like a long time ago, or like, during its Retrofit and such. Only those people are probably like, it's worth it, because they already have Tsukuyomi, right? And even if they have it, there might be better units, or there might be better replacements of the units, right? But the thing is, right, we did get Tsukuyomi rework a lot faster than a lot faster than when it was back in EN. So yeah, or a lot faster than back when it was in NC. So I wonder if this will, create anything special, because back then in NC it was also used along with it was also used along with where do I find it? So it was also used along with the Rezo collab rerun, which is where is it? Yeah, both of the retrofit of Eternal Prime, as well as a retrofit for not retrofit for Vasa Echo, because Vasa Echo actually didn't get as much use back when it was retrofitted in NC. So like, even like, not even with Tsukuyomi and such, because there was just already a lot better units back then. So but anyway, I want to start with Tsukuyomi, I think, because again, just want to get through it pretty quick. And now I know people, I know Ian doesn't have Nanase Awaken yet. Yeah, I know Ian doesn't have Nanase Awaken yet, but don't worry about it. You can just use any support pilots on it if you want. And let's say if you have what's it called? Like, let's say if your support is on, Fenghong Ward or something like that, right? And you need a mecha for Hongwu or something. Like, you can even use Hongwu on it if you really want to, because the whole thing about this unit is spam time stop in PvP, and both using it to live and using it to do, damage and do debuff and such like that. That's basically the whole gist of this mecha. It's just, causing problems for the enemy's team, making your opponent's team unable to play the game. So Evie, welcome. But anyway, this is the reason why, or that's usually the uses for Tsukuyomi, and it's both a CC and a support as well, because because this unit is safe enough to carry supports, and also it can, for some of the move, it can provide stealth for your, for your opponents, which can be pretty good as well. And this is the overall build, like the general build. For, of course, depending on who you're fighting against, there might be better, builds depending on the situations. But generally, this is, I think, the safest build for most situations, and the co-pilot is Mori, which is I think the skin is a bit, yeah, which is her defense, which hopefully you're not okay if you're using this defense on one of your units, then you might as well use it on Tsukuyomi if you were to have Tsukuyomi, because yeah, Tsukuyomi, even though it can survive, it is not as survivable as some of the units at the moment. So it might be a better idea to use her defense on actually, let me see what is units at the moment. I believe Tsukuyomi would be the best candidate for this co-pilot skill, because it does want to de-aggro even if she had the stealth and damage immunity and such. So starting from the core, I'm using this core just because it can give enemies permanent debuffs. If you get lucky, if you're able to shoot enemies, during the time summon and such, right? If you can, stack the debuff up, it can give the enemy a permanent debuff, which can be, pretty useful, because you're not going to be using DPS, or you're not going to be using this unit to kill, or using this unit to DPS, so you might as well give as much debuff to the enemy team as possible. So this is the reason why I'm using this core. Now, depending on the pilots, you can actually use refresh core, because if the pilot's active skill is really, really good, then you can also use that as well. But overall, if your pilot is a general support pilot, then I think using this core are just better, for Tsukuyomi and such, right? Because if you're using refresh core, then it would just be because of the pilots and such. So anyway, so that's the core. And then now for the bullets. I'm conflicted between using either shell as well as like the shell that can make drone last longer. But the thing is, yeah, in today's meta, drone might not even survive for a long time, because even Hound Sigma can just destroy all the drones very, very quickly. So I don't really think that is that worth it. You might as well use ether shell, so maybe it can go through shield on some attack to potentially activate this to stack the permanent debuff and such, right? So there's a reason why I'm using either shell, and I think this should be the best one. There might be better ones, depending on the situation, but I think either shell, you wouldn't really go wrong. But to be honest, yeah, the shell really doesn't really matter, because again, you're not doing damage, or you're not doing DPS for Tsukuyomi and such. 欢迎喵喵，欢迎。Alright. And now to the support. Support is just, yeah, this little blue battery, whatever thing it is called. If you don't have it, then just use emergency detach, that might work as well. But I think if you have this thing, definitely use this thing. And if you don't have either of them somehow, then just use one that gives the most HP. Probably better, because she does have the unit does have HP, to wait, hold on. Does it have it? Yeah, it does have HP to fan damage value, stacking and such, so not bad. And on to the armor. Now the armor is firm steel. There isn't really any, because you're gonna want the pet slot and the defense spot for firm steel. So like for other better skills, so you don't want to use them for firm steel. So yeah, just use firm steel on and overall nothing really that great, because she does already have shield to anti other range units as well, or like other range attack as well. So and now for the and now for the coatings. Now the coatings, Gaia coat I think is a better one, just because how many force KD we have nowadays. You can use the aggro one if you don't have any, if you don't have an extra Gaia coat, but only if you don't have any the extra Gaia coat, because yeah, the aggro in this meta is not gonna really do much, at this point. So yeah, I just use Gaia coat. I think it's just a lot safer into this meta, just so you can you get some more defense, and you get some more heals as well. So. And then now onto the pets. Now for the pets, it's a little bit iffy. I'm using this one, like this pet. Now, I don't know if this pet is in Ian yet, because I don't see it in Ian's starlight patch. But if you have this unit, but the thing is, even if you have this pet, it might be better if this pet is on another unit, like on your Feng Huang or on your just other units will be a lot better than using on this unit, because she can technically already survive on her own for a good bit. But let's say if you have extra one, or let's say if you're using, if you have Pisces on all the other ones, then you can probably use, this little one, or this one on to the what's called on this unit. Now there is other one that can potentially use, like the Rebel one. You can potentially use this one as well. In 2v2s, you can probably use, Scorpion 2. Maybe even Naughty Saga as well. But overall, I think it might be a bit safer to use, this flower one overall. But again, it would depending on who you have left, right? If you have, actually I'm gonna put on my mistake. Noxon might be a little better, but the thing is, I don't really think this unit will get, will get one shot, considering, based on its chassis. But you know what, I'm putting on non-state just cause prevent getting one shot or something. Which I don't think it will. But anyway, not non-state, the flower thing, the rabbit, all of them are good. The only thing that is not really that good is the Pisces, because again, you're not doing damage with this unit, so that's why you're not gonna be getting a lot of shields, from using Pisces. So aside from Pisces, I think everything else is good. Everything else is good for Naughty Steak, or like every good PvP pets are fine. Like Naughty Steak, the bunny, this shield thing, and yeah, you can probably even use this one as well if you really want to. But in today's meta, I don't think this really matters that much anyway. So, and now on the co-pilot scale, is just this one. Just like use your best use your best co-pilot scale that can, I guess, for support. Like even rewind or something like that can potentially work as well. Just the one that can, and for this one, like this one can both, make you immune to damage and also de-aggroes you. So it's pretty good. But if you don't have this, if you don't have her, or if she's on your some other units that might require it more, then can obviously just use the best one you have. The best, on death effect you have, or if you don't have, any of them, just I guess use the one that stacks the most final defense will also work as well. So that should be the build for Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi is definitely a very, probably the best rework so far, if not the best, even till this day. The best rework till this day, even in CN. So for those who have it, for those who already have it at like, A-star or like max star, then definitely Retrofit this unit. But if you have it at only 7-star or something, then I'd highly suggest you save. It is not worth. Although this unit is usable, it is not something like, that is meta defining and such, right? So I definitely think save it for Gunbuster or something like that will be a lot better. Like, it is not worth rolling a unit, even with a rework that is this old and such. So, but yeah. So, good unit, and I guess I can go into this unit a bit. It's just spam stealth, every time it takes 16%, HP, or if it takes, up to 60% HP, it will start doing, like, it will, heal a little bit, it will, time stop, it will just be immune to damage. It's a big problem for the enemy's team, because every time you even do a little bit of damage to it, it will just pause, just like pause the match, and then those units who couldn't move in time stop can be pretty compromised. And if you combine these things along with other units that can move in time stop, then it can potentially be very, very powerful for team setup. So, and most of his other things are mainly just copy and paste from Kaguya's Retrofit, but because of this time stop, because I guess because whenever it gets attacked, it was stealth, which already aggros, and it will also be immune, and it will time stop that specific enemy as well. So like, aside from being able to time stop the entire field, whenever it gets attacked, it will just pause enemies. All of these just making it extremely freaking annoying for enemies to deal with. But it's not impossible. It can potentially still get really blasted, with the amount of HP removals, with the amount of just broken, like other broken stuff, that we have nowadays. It can still be kill pretty quickly. Now I don't know if it will be as quickly compared to back in CN, but yeah, because Ian does have Gura. Now the Gura is not exactly that really that well done anyway, but or that strong in Ian anyway, but again, with Ian's schedule being so different, it's really hard to tell, how good or how much better or how much worse a certain unit or a certain rework is, in Ian's meta. But I will assume it won't be, it won't be as it will be at least stronger when it was, back, compared to back when it was in CN. Or I guess more worth it, mainly just because, again, we did get this unit early, and there's a potential of resource rerun coming soon that we can get Neo Eternal the Eternal Prime Neo Retrofit, which can be paired pretty well with this unit in PvP. So alright, so that should be it for Tsukuyomi. I'll just add anything new or anything special onto the comments or in the description. So yeah, also for the pilot choice. Now for the pilot choice is just support pilots. Yeah, support pilots or Hongwu. Yeah, support pilots or Hongwu, depending on what you need more. Which your Hongwu is probably gonna be on something stronger, right? But so you're probably gonna be using it on support support pilots, which is just whichever support pilot you're using. Rhea, or Saga and such. So yeah. Alright, so that should be it about this one. And now there's another build for it, but this is mainly for the pilots. The pilots is just, you want to use refresh core and you use, the SP coding and use the pets, and then so you can, be spamming, her active skill, which is not bad. So yeah, this is another kind of build, but this is usually used on Feng Huang and not on Tsukuyomi, but oh well. It's just something you could use, right? If the pilots that you're using on it has a really good active skill. And now to Tyrant 3-1 or whatever it is called, like Tyrant 3 or Imperial or something like that. Anyway, probably the best free-to-play unit at the moment. Well, free-to-play as in like, or it's actually free-to-play because you do require yourself to be at least a veteran. I mean, it could be very free-to-play, but it's definitely not a new player unit because you want to be at least a veteran, and you also need to have Nadia Awaken, or not it's her Awaken. You also need Nadia Awaken. Mainly because it is just a one-shot machine. Like even though she does have what's it called? Even though she does have the whole summoning thing. The whole thing about this unit is other attack is mainly for is mainly for shooting those beams, and potentially those beams can one-shot enemies because of Nadia's effect. It's even lagging when I was shooting it. But yeah, so Nadia's one of Nadia's skill is the main armament has a 10% chance to ignore every single defense abilities, and that means with Imperial having so many shotgun, or especially shotgun type, or just overall just main armament type attacks, it can potentially cause a lot of problems when it's shot onto pretty much any enemy in the game. If it wasn't careful, or if you just get a little bit of, you don't even need to be lucky, because 10% chance is pretty high considering you're shooting that much beam onto enemies. So shooting like, let's say 20 beams onto enemies, all of them can do massive damage, and even if just a few go through that 10% chance, you can potentially just one-shot the enemies right there and then. So that's the reason why Tyrant 3 is good, or the new Tyrant 3 Retrofit is good. It's not because Tyrant 3 is anything special, it's because combining Tyrant 3's main armament BS and Nadia's force skill, that can one-shot people overall. But still, with this combination, it is still probably one of the best free-to-play quote-unquote unit in the game at the moment. But of course, it is definitely not a new player unit because again, new player doesn't have access to Nadia Awaken, and also Nadia does, and new player can't exactly farm Tyrant 3 that well as well. And of course, for new player, definitely don't rule Tyrant 3. Yeah, definitely don't rule Tyrant 3. It is specifically for top players or veterans who have both of these units already, right? So yeah. Anyway, oh, and of course, you know, every 4 seconds it will try to shoot, so it doesn't really, so it's just, you know, it's not, I don't think this is the exact same one compared, like, with what's called, well, I think it is the same one, but I don't think it has the same properties, because I don't think this unit can shoot out of, you know, her co-pilot skill, but definitely, you know, definitely give it a test if you want to test it. But overall, I think this is the best build overall. So let's get into builds. So on the core, using just more reload speed because, you know, Tyrant 3 already got a damage, Nadia already got a damage for Tyrant 3, so I don't think you need to use more damage, so you might as well, you know, have the bullet shoot with a gap slower. Like, the main thing about this unit is that it can reduce the attack gap between, you know, attacks by nearly 50%, which is, you know, pretty good for one-shotting enemies quickly, because, you know, if you don't blast the enemy quick enough, it can potentially, you know, the enemy can potentially get out of it, or, like, you know, activate some skills that can prevent you from being, you know, prevent them from being one-shotted. So, and the reload can just be pretty good overall, just for you to shoot more, so that's not bad at all. And then now for the bullets, the bullets is Ether Shell. You know, why not? Just I guess you can potentially use this one as well, but I think Ether Shell might be a little bit better. Just, you know, more RNG to potentially, you know, ignore enemies' defense and such, and then just, you know, blast enemy and one-shot them and be done with it. So yeah. Ether Shell. And then now onto the support. Now support is the one that you want to use more ammo, which is this one. It give up to, you know, nearly up to 50% more you know, beam ammo count, which again, it will be very good for Nadia, because the more you shoot, the more, you know, the more potential the enemy can be one-shotted, or at least die very, very quickly, you know, for all the beams main armament that is shooting at it. So yeah, this is pretty important. And then and then we have the armor. The armor is firm steel. Again, both, you know, both the co-pilot skill and both the co-pilot skill and pets are, you want someone stronger, so yeah, firm steel all the way. And then now this one are probably better to use the aggro, mainly because you want to create opportunity for it to shoot a lot, so you don't want to be grabbed and such. Thus, even though Gaia Code, like, the reason why Tsukuyomi is using Gaia Code is because Tsukuyomi can potentially, like, not exactly brawl, but Tsukuyomi can survive a lot better than, you know, Tyrant 3. So it might, like, so for me personally, I think it's a lot better for it to be using the aggro, so it can, you know, potentially one-shotting people while they're not looking at the unit themselves, and to not be grabbed, you know, then a combo or something like that. So that's the reason why I'm using, you know, the aggro, because the best case scenario is that Tyrant 3 is in a backline and just watering there, and then every 4 seconds it blasts the enemies. That's the best case scenarios. And if you don't have the aggro on, there's a potential that the enemy drags the Tyrant 3 in, you know, within the battle, which is fine still, but it is not Tsukuyomi, and Tsukuyomi can survive that, but Tyrant 3 cannot survive that, especially with, you know, especially when you're using Nadia, which is, again, she doesn't really have anything that is exactly defensive. So that's the reason why I'm using the aggro code, just in case, right? Of course, you can use Gaia Code if you want to, but for this, you know, for this scenario, I think the aggro might be a bit better. And now to the pets. Now the pets, not necessarily I think is the best, just again, prevent you from being one-shotted. You know, compared to Tsukuyomi, where Tsukuyomi can survive. She doesn't really need Naughty Snake. She can use any of the good co-pilot skills. But for this unit, but for Tyrant 3 especially, you kind of need Naughty Snake to not get, you know, blasted, because even though it can blast enemies, it can also be blasted by the enemies very easily as well, because again, it is Tyrant 3. It is not exactly the brawler and such, so yeah. I don't even think you have any, you know, much defense abilities. Yeah, it doesn't really have much defense ability. It kind of requires Naughty Stay along with the aggro, you know, for Mori, you know, the aggro combat skill and damage immunity to combat skill to to survive just a little bit longer. So yeah. But anyway, this unit is the definition, or I guess this build is the definition of glass cannon. You require every single part of this. You require Nadia, and you require Tyrant 3 Retrofit, and you also require a team that can, give the chance, or at least some sort of setup to give the chance for Tyrant 3 to blast enemies. And if you do that, then you can potentially, I guess, end the match very quickly, or at least be an advantage before your Tyrant 3 dies. Let's say your Tyrant 3 can one shot or kill very quickly two of the enemy's units or one of the enemy's units, so the enemy can, or so the battle can be in a 4v3 or in a 4v or in a 4v2 or something like that, right? Or even after Tyrant 3 dies, it will still be like a 3v2 or something like that. So that's the thing for this unit. There's pretty hard for this unit to survive till the end, even if you're in an advantage, because again, it's Tyrant 3, you can get one-shotted pretty quickly, so. But using Naughty Stay along with this, combat style combo can potentially help you from not getting killed as fast with that, but, yeah, I wouldn't really bet on that as much, so. Alright, so that should be it about both Tsukuyomi and Tyrant 3. Hopefully this is, this is only 20 minutes. Okay, so then let's finish this stream what's it called within 30 minutes, so I think it'll be a lot better anyway. So also the boy, welcome. Also Evie, yeah, boop, wow, thank you. Sorry, I was just doing the guys and such. So all right, I don't know why the game is lagging, but anyway, also for PvE usages, it's not gonna be useful. It's maybe only in what's it called? Maybe only in Trial of Abyss. That's probably usable as a support carry or something. I don't know. But otherwise, yeah. Just use it for PvP. If you can. So again, both of these units are not worth rolling. Especially if a new player is not gonna be worth rolling from scratch. Or at least for Tyrant 3 especially, you can farm that thing, so definitely don't roll it. Definitely don't roll Tyrant 3 and such, so. Yeah, I think that should be it, but I think that should be it. I don't think there's anything, anything special and such. Where's Tyrant 3? I just didn't say anything, oh, Tyrant 3 is still here. And then Tsukuyomi Rework is just, I don't know why my internet, on my phone is so low at the moment, but oh well. Jesus Christ, what is happening? Oh wait, hold on. My phone is not even connected anymore. That's funny. Time out! That's, okay. Yeah, hold on. I don't know what is happening. Oh, what the thing? Well, didn't even. Hold on. Yeah, it's trying to connect. You know what? Yeah, I think it's better if I just cut the. I think it's better if I just cut the stream now. If you have any questions, just comment down in the comments and in the description. My phone Wi-Fi just refused to work at the moment for some reason. It's really annoying. Yeah, it is just refused to work at the moment. Oh my goodness, what is happening, guys? My internet. I'm out. Yeah. Whatever. Well, anyway, thank you for coming by, and good evening. I was just about to end, but yeah, good evening again. Just everything I talk about is time stamped, and then will be time stamped, and then feel free to ask any questions if you guys want to. My phone is not my phone's internet is not working at the moment, so yeah. Goodbye.